Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark Amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. Let the countdown begin, Kyle. This is Into the Nexus, and we are rapidly approaching Blizzcon at a pace that is having me question if I packed my underpants. Hi, everyone. I'm Garrett Weinzierl. He's Kyle. I already said his name, but you get that. You know how this goes by now.
There's been a few episodes of this show. I am so excited for BlizzCon, man, but also, you know, I'm a shy nerd. I'm getting a little nervous about it, but then I follow some devs, some community managers from Blizzard on Twitter, and I think they're more afraid of me than I am of them. So I think it's going to be okay. It'll just be a big, awkward nerd gathering as it always is.
Yeah, man. Dude, I have lost all chill while nerding out on multiple Blizzard developers, artists, and musicians. Many a Blizzard employee has been on the other end of me fanning out, and they take it well. And all of them that I can think of seem to thoroughly appreciate it, and kind of like us, enjoy being reminded that there's other people on the end of this. What can sometimes seem like a rather, I don't know, personal enclosed experience.
Oh, definitely. Who doesn't like hearing some good compliments about something you spent months on and is able to share your enthusiasm in the thing you created? But one of the wonderful things about BlizzCon nowadays, this wasn't so much back in the day. Nowadays, these Blizzard games feel like such a community-built project, particularly Heroes. Of all the games they have right now, I feel like as a community, we've had the biggest say in how this game is shaped together. And getting to meet those devs is just like putting in the last puzzle piece. In a sense.
No, I completely agree with you, man. We've said it on the show so many times, but it bears repeating. Like, Team One is kind of unrecognizable in terms of their community outreach compared to StarCraft 2 days. I know StarCraft 2 is still part of what they do, and is still a game that is being supported, and the esports are going great. They've been recently making history. But what I'm talking about the beginning of SC2, leading into Heart of the Swarm, man. Team One was not like this. We did not get to sit down and have fireside chats with them like we do now.
And really, it's about the initial meeting for me. Once the handshake or whatever the hand deal is completed, things are pretty chill. But when that hand goes out straight, oh yeah, handshake, nice, relaxing. When it goes up at that kind of angle where you don't know if it's going to be like a clap and a hug or if it's going to be like a high five or some sort of like bring it back, snap your thumbs together thing. Whew, I would say that's my biggest nerve breaker there. I
do like the rearing back snake pound. That's what I do, because it's the most hygienic of options. It's very easy to catch Concrete at BlizzCon.
That's true, and then it's already a fist, so there's nothing else you can do in there.
Right, there's no options. There's no options for that. Yes, you can. You can do the on top, on the bottom, and then pound it, blow it up, and bring it back in, but that's getting really fancy, and most people don't assume that when you make a fist.
It ain't the 90s anymore, though. No one's doing any sort of top-down thing anymore.
Well, clearly, you just need better friends, man.
Hey, I've got good friends. I accept huzzas in all their forms. A nice, good old-fashioned, by the wrist, joust kind of handshake. That's what I'm about.
That would make me so uncomfortable. To everyone out there, please don't grab my forearm.
You have to say huzzah, though, or otherwise I think you're going for a handshake, and this is going to get weird.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, man, but I'm really looking forward to BlizzCon. This is the first year in the history of me attending BlizzCon that I am actually getting a little stressed, because a lot of things are going on Saturday for me and for you. But I'm running a gambit, like a total gamut of interviews that'll show up, I'm sure, on this show and Angry Chicken and other shows after BlizzCon. Plus, I don't know if I can announce it yet. Scott announced it. I'm on an Overwatch panel, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So that's going on Saturday as well. So it's I have like the most predetermined schedule I've ever had for BlizzCon, and I'm freaking out a little bit, but it's awesome.
Well, it is, and the thing is expanding. I don't even know if the space can hold it next year. We've moved now onto the second floor, the third floor of the convention center. It's getting big. And lucky for me, I mean, I'm so heavily invested in heroes that it's not hard to find my people and my section to camp out. But you're going to be pulled all over that place.
Well, luckily, schedules have aligned where everything's happening on the same floor, relatively close to one another within X amount of hours. So it's not so bad. There was a time where I thought I'd be running around a lot, but hey, it's all right.
Well,
so
before we get into unknowns, let's talk about Thursday, which is a known. We know what's going to happen Thursday night.
We do, man. First of all is Con Before the Storm, where we will both be present, albeit on separate panels. I believe I'm on one of the first panels of the evening. I will be moderating the Hearthstone panel with a slew of other well-known Hearthstone podcast hosts. So make sure to come on out for that. And then I believe immediately after that is the Heroes of the Storm panel, where you are on it, Kyle, and it's being moderated by Scott Johnson.
That is correct.
So 2 panels that we are a part of with a bunch of talented podcasters in Con Before the Storm put on by World of Podcasts. That'll be in the Hilton. So go check that out. And then following that appearance, Kyle, we'll be having our normal A-Move TV meetup. We also call it BlizzCon Bowling, which will be happening at the Bowlmore bowling lanes, which are inside the Anaheim Garden Walk Mall. It's right around the corner, walking distance from the Anaheim Convention Center. We're going to be meeting there at 9 p.m. local time. Again, this is Thursday, November 3rd, the night before BlizzCon, for drinks, merriment, and maybe bowling. You and I haven't bowled for like the last 3 years straight.
No.
But it's still an option. We typically go to the bar and then watch Dills just own everyone at pool.
It's a big old space. Yeah, the pool table's there, but there's areas to sit, there's areas to hang out, and look for the tall guys, right? It's not too hard to find us.
Yeah, exactly. Look for the tall guy with ridiculous hair and the guy that's even taller than him despite the ridiculous hair. So
and that's all they need. I mean, basically, we do a radio show, and many people haven't seen us, but that's all you need to know.
Yeah. Kyle is a giant, an absolute giant, ladies and gentlemen. If it hasn't come across to you, some of you have never even seen us before. But even if you're watching us on stream, it does not do Kyle's height justice. You're a big man.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. Anyways, the other thing that's going on is this coming Monday, Kyle. Some of our most diehard who tune into twitch.tv/AMOVTV know that Mondays, that's WoW Day, man. Been getting together with Jocelyn talking WoW, and then at 3 p.m. Eastern time, we get on and do 5-mans in World of Warcraft and stream it, and then it goes up on YouTube later in the week. Well, it's BlizzCon week next week, so we can't do that, which means we got to do something on Monday, right? We can't just sit on our hands.
No, what kind of workers would we be?
Exactly. So if you are a patron of Into the Nexus, meaning you're over at patreon.com/ITN and you are supporting the show monetarily, first of all, thank you so much to the hundreds of bosses we now have. You're also hundreds of the nicest bosses we've ever had. But also, you can call in this Monday. This Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we're doing our next patron hangout. So as always, go to patreon.com/ITN. Look for the post. It just went up for the Skype information. Make sure you add the account before you try calling in. But we'll be taking calls from you guys live for an hour starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you can't make it live, drop a question in the comments section of the post over at patreon.com/ITN. Looking forward to talking to you guys.
And then it'll be off.
It will be. And then it's just like, well, I think I have finger chicken the next day. But after that, then it's just like off to BlizzCon. Things get crazy. I voted today just because of how much stuff is happening in and around BlizzCon.
Oh, good for you. And then it's out of the way.
Yes. Also, I can finally go, it's over. As far as I am concerned, this election is over. I'm done.
Yeah, just walk away, fingers in the ears, sing yourself a song.
Yep.
There's nothing they can do.
I'm done. I'm out. I'm done. It doesn't matter what anyone says over the course of the next few days. Not that it would have mattered anyway, because soon I will be transported to the world of Blizzard, which is an alternate reality all on its own.
Look, maybe while everyone's crowded outside and feeling a little hot, there might be someone who would make the unwise choice to bring up certain topics in the American culture right now. But once you're inside, the steam is going, the lights are going, and there's those weird signs that aren't quite lit up yet because something else is going to happen in that area. Everyone's going to forget and have an awesome time.
Yep. Well, Kyle, shall we get into this week's Heroes News?
Yes.
We're on, boys! Ha ha! Let's liven up this place!
Can Stitches play now? Put me to the stage.
BlizzCon is coming, man. It's the opening week. HGC is already going on. And we found out who the band is, or the performer in this case, who comes with a band. But you don't say the following, Weird Al Yankovic, and think of a band. You think of the man with the hair that's crazier than mine.
Yes.
So what do you think, Kyle? I know you are typically not the biggest music fan in the world. You're usually the guy with the least amount of opinions when it comes to music, and I'm usually the guy with all of the opinions when it comes to music. How are you excited about Mr. Yankovic?
Of course I am. I thought Tenacious D was the best band they've had so far for the venue. And I get that some people are upset about Weird Al, because the sound does dominate the area. Even those poor World of Warcraft guys, the esports fans, who have to wait to the very end of BlizzCon to have their finals, and then the band starts playing over their cast sometimes because they ran late. They had to sit through Linkin Park last year. I giggled at Linkin Park while I rode the Brawl over and over again. I guess he was Arena at the time.
I love that you say road, because it's a cue like Disney or Universal.
Exactly, and it's a good time to squeeze in some extra games. But this year, it is kind of tempting, mainly because I'm hoping he gets rather bored on the plane and writes a BlizzCon song. Because I am from Albuquerque, and it was a very big deal growing up.
Wait, what was a big deal, and what does Albuquerque have to do with it?
Albuquerque, A-B-Q, Kirky?
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
The 11-minute song that dominated that whole CD, and us in New Mexico were like, yes, we're on the map, except for Bugs Bunny, who put us on the map like 60 years ago. We finally did it, guys.
And now it's Breaking Bad, which is rocky due to a stardom you have never known, but not for the right reasons.
No, certainly not. Did not make our peaceful little town look too good there.
The other thing I'm really excited about is that Thomas Middleditch will be hosting BlizzCon this year. The lead actor from Silicon Valley.
Ooh, can't help you out there.
Oh, you haven't seen Silicon Valley?
No.
Oh, Kyle.
Don't I live by it now?
Mr. Fergusson, you need to go. Not during the show, because I need you to help me finish it, but afterwards. Go and find, preferably legally, but I ain't judging, Silicon Valley and consume it. It's only 30-minute episodes. It's very funny, very smartly written, and enjoy.
I have been having at Bob's Burgers recently, and I'm not done yet, so I'll put it in the queue.
That is, Bob's Burgers might be my favorite animated show. No, sorry, Rick and Morty. Bob's Burgers second.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick and Morty.
You can't deny the effort of Rick and Morty. All that stuff going on in the background, the little aliens. I mean, it takes that family dynamic and just completely throws away and just adds interest. Whereas I'm definitely starting to see the Lisa Bart antics leak into my Bob's Burgers as they go, oh, crud, another season, guys? It'll be great, but what are we going to do?
I'm still totally fine with it. I love Bob's Burgers. There's so much heart. There's so much heart in that show.
That's true. And as freelancers, there's a lot of little nods to keep it going, keep the faith.
Yep, absolutely. So, anyways, I'm also excited for Weird Al. He's just an awesome dude. Like I've never been like super into his music, but never against it. It's fine. I have a few of his albums, but I love hearing him in interviews. And anytime he guest appears on anything, I have to watch it because I find him just so damn interesting. So I'm really glad he's coming. And I think to me, it makes perfect sense. And I'm surprised it took this long to get Weird Al.
Well, it's probably a lot of travel for a very short venue. I mean, usually an hour, right?
Well, it depends on where you live. Most musicians are already out there anyway.
I'm really excited for it. Yeah, that's very true. I'm really excited for him, though. Running with Scissors was the disc on repeat through a good couple years of middle school, dating myself there. And I hope I recognize some songs because I don't listen to the radio anymore. So I'm a little scared.
That is a bit of Weird Al does get lost on you if you're not up to date on your popular music. But
Like I just heard Royal the other day and I went, oh, I get it.
I'm just subbing for Canadian Idiot.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. But have you been watching HGC so far, Kyle? Group A is wrapped up and Group B is still going on as we're recording this. So to the smaller than usual crowd that is watching us live, you guys are the diehards. We love you the most. We are picking our favorite children, and it's you. But yeah, how's HGC been treating you, Kyle? You been enjoying it?
It's been a lot of fun. I actually delayed my stream yesterday because it ended up going till about 5, and I just hosted it, and we all hung out in my Twitch stream and chilled and talked about what was going on, and it was a really cool environment because we were very nitpicky, I guess you could say, or observant of the talents and had our own little conversation going over it. People are picking some weird things, particularly from looking up at it from solo queue. It's been very exciting to see what sort of not only heroes are getting drafted, but how they're choosing to play them. And so I got to watch all of yesterday. Today, missed most of it, but still going on currently, so I didn't do myself too much of a disservice there. But I think the biggest surprise has been the amount of Gul'dan there is. And Alarak seems to have killed Thrall.
Yeah, I mean, especially in regards to MVP because of their player Rich.
Yes. MVP Rich has been cited as someone to watch if you're into Illidan at all. Make sure you check out what he's up to. He really has a feel for a relaxing style of Illidan play. That sounds so wrong, but it really is. You do the dive and you really just hang out. Every spell you cast on Illidan will reduce your damage and your regeneration because auto attacks are what it's really about. But he just keeps on going forever. And it's incredible to watch this guy. Of course, him really showcasing the Alarak, which pushed it into the esports minds.
Yeah, I want to circle back to Gul'dan as well because I mean you've been saying the last couple of weeks that you think Gul'dan is on his way up, and it seems he has arrived. I mean he's not seeing as much pick/ban as Malfurion. I mean throughout all of the games played in Group A, I believe Malfurion was not picked or banned in only one game total. But Gul'dan still showed up in 3 games and was part of a win for 2 of them, and only it was in a loss for 1 of them. So what are you thinking about Gul'dan, man? Did it go in the direction you thought it was going to go?
Not at all.
Oh, really?
It's very interesting to see what enabled Gul'dan. Really, I think the tipping point for Gul'dan being good now is Malfurion's power. And you have Medic, of course, but that's going to be a cut to your mobility. You already have Gul'dan who has no mobility. Now you add, Morales behind that. It's very scary, but the roots on Malfurion just allow Gul'dan to get those drains that much longer, stay sustained behind it. Innervate, hey, you get to skip a little bit, right? It's such an amazing combo that Gul'dan is pushed into the limelight, but we're all doing corruption builds at home. And these guys are doing Fell Flame builds, actually, and we're talking Pursuit of Flame at level 1. Hitting 40 heroes with Fell Flame increases the radius by 10%. Now, after Gul'dan came out, it got a range increase anyway, so 10% of an already increased range is getting pretty good. But on paper, 10% compared to Echoed Corruption, which bounces backwards, doubling the damage in a sense, just doesn't seem to hold water. But there it is, over and over again, Fell Flame build.
Well, I think, in a way, isn't that exciting? Isn't it nice that you're still being surprised by what the pros are bringing?
It is, and it makes perfect sense. When you really think about it, here you have these sustain healers that are going to keep Gul'dan going for a very long time. Now that you're in a team environment, he's able to spam. What's he spamming? Fell Flame. What don't you get to spam? Because it has a 16-second cooldown? Corruption. So it all makes sense when you think about it that way. And they have huge damage numbers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've seen Gul'dan in almost every game I have played this week. In my own personal games. I don't know how much of that is an artifact. Well, it can't be that much since the Group A was yesterday. But still, he's definitely been on the rise in my own personal games. And now we're seeing him in the pro games, man.
He's not bad. He doesn't take advantage of mistakes as much as someone like Kael'thas. You don't have a stun and you don't have Living Bomb, of course. but he's still about the same shoulder pad, lack of mobility guy as a Kael'thas. And he's just kind of plugging in. Everyone wants to be playing Sustain right now. Linaras, Valas. I mean, they're really, really cool, the Sustain characters. Most of them, Tychus, they all got reworks recently, and our spellcasters are starting to feel a little moldy. So getting someone to pick Li Ming is now starting to be kind of a big deal. In this tournament, though, when we're not talking about solo play, Li Ming is seeing tons of play, and she's seeing plenty of early bans.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The resets are still it's so strong. Short of her being nerfed, it would take, I think, a really specific hero being added to the game to take her out for to knock her down any significant amount from what we're seeing.
Another big observation is that Chen is never working alone as a tank. We're seeing him usually paired with Muradin or ETC. And Chen lacks CC in the first place, in a sense, if you're not counting jumping over you in barrels. So that's been a cool development, and I think that's a very powerful way to play him.
Yeah. For me, we were talking about this off stream. It was also a lot of Rhaegar and a lot of Tychus.
Yeah, a lot more Rhaegar than we see at home right now. There's still that Rhaegar guy. I had him first pick yesterday. He was in the Master Skin. You're just like, well, yeah, there you go, man. It's all yours. We'll trust you. He did great. But most people, unless they're truly passionate about the character, have moved on to Ariel, Brightwing, and, of course, Malfurion.
I certainly have.
I didn't peg you as a real puppy passionate man in the first place.
No, but when it came to support, I will just play whoever is best, and for a long time that was Rhaegar.
I'll just play Lily. I love blinding people.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back to like episode like 20 or whatever, and when I was just crapping all over Lily, and then you can follow the trail where I just keep going, still hate her. She's kind of cool. Okay, she's really cool. Oh my god, I played a game as damage build. She's so much fun.
I get some really cool powers, like at level 16 on Lily, Shake It Off. You get stunned or root, you get damage reduction by 50% resistance. 4 seconds on that. If you watch the Team League event we did this weekend, where we combined 3 podcasts into one team, video's up on my YouTube right now, it was awesome. There was a cool moment there. You were Kael'thas, we were on Blackheart's Bay, and I was just weaving in front of you, absorbing every stun I could out of Muradin so you could keep on going.
Yep, it was beautiful. It was a thing of absolute beauty. And then there was our game today where I think I died the most out of everyone on the team, and it wasn't a thing of absolute beauty, but we still won, and it's totally okay.
We did. Our Nova did perform in her first game in 6 months. Hooray for Smurfing. It was an experience.
We were so worried. Yeah, I was getting my prejudge on pretty hard in that draft phase. I was like, I don't know, Kyle, I'm looking at this guy's profile. Not only has he not played a game in 6 months, before that break, I can't find the most recent Nova game. But
when we remove Samuro, which is exactly what's happening in esports right now, this game is absurdly balanced. And I know some people disagree with that, but really, right now, you can pick whatever you're best at, and with a couple of minor adjustments, the team's good to go. Drafting, you can still lose a draft. Absolutely. I've seen bad butchers. Just pick for fun, throw a draft. And I'm talking on the enemy side here.
Yeah, this was something I brought up to you. Again, we have a lot of out of show, off air conversations. I think I had this conversation with you over the weekend where I was saying, God, I'm so happy with the draft right now. Yes, certainly Samuro is getting banned every single game, pretty much, without fail. And if he's not, he's getting picked every single game. But that aside, I was saying, man, it's so nice that there's so much diversity in the draft right now at seemingly just about every league. I don't have a lot of friends in Bronze League. Not putting down anyone who's listening who is in Bronze League. Write in and let me know what it's like. But I talked to my friends in Silver. I'm still in Gold. A lot of Platinum friends. You're in Diamond. There's a lot of draft diversity. But you did bring up the point that, yes, there's a lot of diversity. But it's still incredibly easy to mess up your draft.
Yeah.
Because just because you can pick just about anything doesn't mean that once that pick is selected that any other pick will go with it.
Right. I mean, we definitely punished some things in the Team League environment, which was so much fun. We did our Team League event for ITN last season. There's going to be another one after BlizzCon too, so keep on the wire for that. But this was the first time I played Team League with just a whole bunch of guys, and the coolest thing about it, despite our different skill levels, we all had a true passion for the game and a equal understanding of why things should happen. Maybe not when they should happen, but certainly why a strategical move is important at the time. And there was misdrafts. We got Samuro first. Gorath played an amazing Samuro, and the enemy team takes Chromie, and we're just like, oh, okay. You got an early Kael'thas. Enemy team draft 4 melees. We go, okay, great, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and what we're trying to say there is you can absolutely take Chromie. Probably not best to do it in that scenario, though.
No, you still need to have some options. I did lose a game yesterday because I had a first picker who was Nova or Gazlo. No matter what happened, it was going to be Nova or Gazlo. It was Battlefield Eternity. We put her on to Gazlo. It wasn't so hot. So drafting is still so important. But if you have one of these characters that is solid right now, it's a good time to climb. And these events are showing those exact guys. They are showing us who isn't working out. You're not seeing a lot of Butcher here. You're still seeing more Falstad than I thought we would. We're seeing tons of Lee Bing, tons of Tychus, and more Zeratul than I could possibly imagine, which is 2, but still kind of threw me for a surprise. I wonder if these guys have been playing too much Samuro, and they just went, who's kind of like him? Zeratul, maybe? I don't know. I'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we touched on the current HGC. Let's move in and talk about the what's coming next year, because we got a proper 2017 preview. Nothing is really, there's nothing like world shattering here. It's following pretty much what they announced previously. X amount of teams. They're going to be funded by Blizzard, etc. But we're getting a really fleshed out timeline now. We now know what the schedule is actually going to look like. So right now, November and going through the end of the year is going to be the qualifying stage, and that's where we're going to get our 6 spots in HGC, leading into the total of 8 at the beginning of the first round of league play. And that's going to be a 5-week stint spanning January through February, and that's where the 8 teams in each region are going to face off. And then we have the Eastern Clash in the middle, sorry, not in the middle, but the end of that first 5 weeks. And this is basically a show match with a $100,000 prize pool. And then comes the following 5 weeks of league play. And at the end of that are the playoffs. And at the end of that is the Crucible, which I've been saying this is where we send 2 of our tributes to the Hunger Games. This is where the bottom 8 teams have to go and fight it out in the Crucible against the top 2 finishers from the open division. And this is where we can see change-ups in what teams are, in the 8 locked-in teams for our region, which is super cool.
Super cool, super stressful, but it's what we want as viewers. I mean, these guys are basically going to fight this next year for salaries.
Yeah.
And as long as you are good enough, you're going to be set. This is your career for the moment.
Yeah.
What happens in sport, like real sports, football? You get signed to a team, and that's all your paycheck. There's never, like in the Super Bowl, they're never like, and today he walks away with $100,000.
Well, it does, but it's sideways. It's like, and after this, Bud Light will sponsor him in addition to his sizable contract increase for next year.
Okay.
You get endorsements and all kinds of things. And honestly, you and I should probably never try and make a traditional sports reference. I mean, we were both morons in that regard.
No, we're going into dangerous territory here. But,
but no, you are right. In esports, it's very 1-to-1. It's like they won, they get this money. But now it's less 1-to-1. Now we have 8 teams per region that are locked in for a certain amount of time and are receiving salary from the company that made the game. And the Crucible, by the way, isn't even the end of what they're calling Phase 1. At the end of all of that, we have our mid-season Brawl, and this is the global competition. And this is May and June, by the way. This is not BlizzCon of next year. This is May and June is the mid-season Brawl, where 12 teams total from all of the regions meet and fight over $250,000 prize pool. And then we move into Phase 2, which is pretty much everything I just said all over again leading up to BlizzCon. So we have weekly matches. We have 2, not 1, global finals a year. I'm very excited for Heroes Esports next year, Kyle.
This is extremely controlled, and that is good for many reasons and a little scary for some reasons. League of Legends has been suffering a little bit, particularly when these players maybe try to go outside of official sanctioned events, or smaller organizations try to launch their own tournaments. There frankly hasn't been that much of independent tournaments in the first place for heroes outside of what Solid Jake put together. I wonder if he'll be affected. We still don't know those sort of things yet, but
right. I mean, they haven't said anything about that, and that's the kind of thing that's I'm hesitant to say I don't see that happening, but I don't really see that happening, Kyle. I mean, Blizzard historically has always left esports up to the community and to the grassroots, so I would be very surprised, and I think it would be very out of character for them to implement any type of restrictions that would push back or deter anyone from joining in community-created events.
You know what my favorite thing about this webpage is? The total lack of organization names. And I'm not talking about teams. I'm talking about, like, broadcasting names, running the tournaments. As someone coming from StarCraft esports, what a headache it was to just... Okay, so that's NASL, and they award 50% of the points that Korea does, and then that company gives them points, and it's just a mess.
Well, this
is so clean.
I'm sure there will still be different, production houses involved in the broadcasting of these tournaments. But yes, the fact that it's a more unified experience is much easier to understand and follow from a narrative side of things.
And it standardizes my viewing experience, so I know what I'm tuning into, what the format's going to be. And this is pretty darn awesome. This is a fantastic rundown. I'm sure someone will still stand up and say, how are you supporting heroes moving into 2017? You know what? They put this out early for you there. This is for you, man.
Yeah.
Guy who's going to ask that very question.
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny, BlizzCon actually isn't mentioned by name in the finals that are slated for November. So I'm always in the back of my mind trying to look for clues to see if they're ever thinking about skipping another year of BlizzCon, because remember, they used to. They have skipped years in the past. They have skipped multiple years in the past. But it seems like, Kyle, at this point, how could they do it? BlizzCon is where it all coalesces.
They're doing a decent job staggering them for non-live viewers, but when you're actually there at the event, it's impossible to catch everything, of course. People at home have a way better understanding of hero talent pools than I will ever have actually there in person. It's all about the vibe and everything. But these events are getting large enough that it could be its own thing all by itself. Heroes Con.
Yeah, no, it really could be. And I mean, everyone, myself included, has been screaming for a third day being tacked on to BlizzCon.
There's a lot of stuff. And hey, Blizzard, you called it the mid-season brawl here. It's taken. But you know what? Arena's open. Change that name, man.
There you go. Done. Yeah, and next year we're also going to have an official Blizzard Overwatch League. So it's going to be real crowded at BlizzCon next year.
Yeah.
It's already crowded. They already have an Overwatch stage this year. And the Dark Moon Fair is moving up to the 3rd floor. Like, I don't know how they're going to squeeze everything next year into 2 days.
But the Dark Moon Fair is really awesome.
It is awesome. You should definitely make it up to the 3rd floor to the Dark Moon Fair to see it. And not just because there's a cool Overwatch panel happening that a certain podcast host might be a part of.
You could also get your face painted while you listen to Garrett talk.
You could. You absolutely could. I might be getting my face painted while I talk.
Perfect.
I'm not sure if that's allowed, but I'll see.
Can you broadcast live from the money cage?
Folks, if you've never been to BlizzCon before, they have one of those wind closets that usually has money flying around in it, but I believe it's loot codes at BlizzCon.
Yeah, that's right.
So, anyways, I'm so excited for BlizzCon. I'm freaking out about day 2 because there's a lot of stuff scheduled, but I'm so excited for BlizzCon.
It's going to be awesome.
Anyways, getting back into the game itself, for those of us who are not esports prodigies of things we can enjoy, Kyle, Hallow's End is live in the game. It's a new event, so we're getting XP bonus, 50% bonus throughout Hallow's End for games played in any mode except training or custom games, and there's also, I think, a 15 game meta quest that you can go and accomplish, which I am totally working on right now.
Yeah, and the bundle came out with it, that iPad, the Deputy Vala and the Scarecrow Azul, and you get a little Deputy Vala portrait for completing this little quest.
Dude, Deputy Vala, what came out of nowhere?
What do you mean out of nowhere? She's fantastic.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Usually we get a big hype trailer where it's like this skin and that skin and here's a mountain. That's, I guess because it was just 2 skins. Maybe that's why they didn't do a hype trailer, but it's a really well done skin.
Oh, there is. It's not on the official website here, though.
Oh.
They made a video, a little,
I haven't
animation using the models, and she's walking through there being all spooky, and Zool pops out behind her. It's real cool.
How have I not seen? I've seen. Okay, fine. So it's on me. It's my fault.
No, it's not on the website here. I would blame Blizzard if I were you.
No, I'm blaming myself.
Well, if you are interested in getting really good at Vala, the skin is actually rather powerful because the gunshots are way more recognizable than the arrow patoos, which means it's easier to stutter step.
Very cool.
Particularly when you're constantly increasing your own attack speed, staying on rhythm's pretty difficult. So this skin is maybe a little too powerful.
I think it's fine.
Nah, it'll be fine, of course.
It's totally fine. It's such a good skin. I'm really tempted to buy it.
That's like saying I'm nerfing myself by using Space King Leoric because the Drain Hope is louder.
Yeah.
I guess I am.
You are.
But I feel awesome.
You are, Kyle. Also, I believe her left gun is basically a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun, which means it's a boomstick from Evil Dead, which means this is the best skin in the game.
Exactly.
Yep. Happy Halloween, everyone. God, after Walking Dead over the weekend, I'm so ready for ridiculous, goofy horror in a la Evil Dead than Walking Dead.
Get too serious for you? What's going on in that show?
Yeah, just too much, man. It's not the events that bother me. It's the lingering on said events. It's just like this episode could have been 30 minutes of what you showed me. Can we please move on? I don't need to wallow in this despair for a full 60 plus minutes because you got an extra 10 minutes on your time slot today.
Talk about debates, man.
Sorry, what?
You talk about debates? Let's move on.
I think we're all a little winded with our options for television entertainment right now. This is why esports are so great.
Why Bob's Burgers on Netflix.
Exactly. Watch Bob's Burgers is the moral of this story. And then finally, we got a new Brawl this week, Kyle. It went live today for whatever. I just assumed they would be going live on Tuesday. I have not heard if we should just assume it will come out on Thursdays from now on or what. But the new Brawl is here. It is hammer time. We can get another 1,000 gold, and we can also get a new portrait. This is the all Sergeant Hammer on Towers of Doom Brawl. And the first team to climb enough bell towers wins, man.
Thrusters are always active. You will pick your talents like normal, I believe, but you will be forced into using the BFG.
Yes.
I haven't played it yet. I'm actually just pleasantly surprised at this. You do get gold yet again. It is going to be Thursdays from now on, just like every Brawl is, I believe, certainly across Hearthstone. But then over in Overwatch, their Brawl resets on Thursdays as well. I think it's just Brawl Day.
I guess. Well, no, because I'm getting it. No, because Tavern Brawl in Hearthstone goes live on Wednesday.
Okay, so maybe they're staggering it. Either way, this is the same company that gives a portrait in StarCraft, the same team that gives a portrait in StarCraft for going to BlizzCon. And your in-game reward for buying collector's editions for StarCraft is a portrait. And they so far are showing that they're going to give us a new portrait every week. I know it's small. I know the last one was just a little cutout of the Punisher. I know this one is actually a nice little Rosie the Riveter of Hammer.
Yeah.
But there's some pretty cool assets here.
That's pretty, it's pretty sweet. I like it. Also, I'm still waiting for my Tank Girl Hammer skin. And also at this point, I need a Fury Road Furiosa Sergeant Hammer as well.
I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that in BlizzCon. After all, what have I always said about WoW? It's about seeing the jokes that are 2 years old. So let's see some 6-month-old, 8-month-old skins. Surely there was a guy. I mean, Samuro, in the little video they made, they said they worked on him for 5 years. So who knows what sort of skins are sitting in the background for him?
I don't know. Man. Also, and you're now reminding me that the Johanna skin I've been wanting forever is now on sale. So thanks. Let's stop talking about skins because I don't want to spend any more money. So we're about to move into strategy and talk about Samuro's nerf that went live and specifically how to fight him in your solo queue games. But before we do that, Kyle, we have patrons to thank over at patreon.com/ITN. Thank you, everyone over there who is supporting us. We really do appreciate it. Huge thanks to our producers, Declan H. and Cheesy Bob. But we also thank 8 of you every episode. And this episode, we are thanking Philip A., Idiom Crone, Jeno B., Jeff M., Chris H., Jeremy B., Arden N., and Robert M. Thank you all so much. Like we said at the top of the show, we have hundreds of very awesome bosses. Thanks to all of you over at patreon.com/ITN, and we really appreciate it.
Well said.
Hope to see a lot of you guys out of Blizzcon. High
Certainly.
fives all around. All around. Now,
In the big game of whose voice is that? What's your screen name?
what is your Twitter avatar? That's what I asked.
All right,
I remember.
Help me out here. Help me out here. Oh, happy dude with earphones in. Yeah, I know you.
Happy to with earphones. And yes, absolutely. Anyways, let's move into this week's strategy segment.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
Yeah, no clue what that means.
So, Samuro got taken down a peg or two this week, Kyle. It's live. It's in. It doesn't matter that we're not, he's not going to be seen in esports. He's still getting tweaked, and that makes me happy. I was a little worried we might just be dealing with Samuro as he is until after BlizzCon, but apparently I was a fool to worry.
Of course, no other changes at all because the game is actually on the live patch at BlizzCon, and they're just simply not allowed to pick Samuro. Still sitting at exactly where he was, 1% down from last week, 67% win rate at the moment. But these are really good changes, and I like them a lot, and we're going to get into how to counter Samuro because there's a lot of you out there that are still telling me you're having trouble, and I believe it because one of the main things we're constantly going over on the show is keeping things in your head, like Tracer's Recall. Should you use a Pyroblast on Tracer? I don't know. Did you see Recall in the last 30 seconds? Well, you had to watch for it. Those are the sort of counters we're going to talk about today. But let's see how Samuro got knocked down and what sort of avenues you can take advantage of, because many people believed that this was not the sort of nerf they wanted to see in Samuro.
Yeah, well, right off the bat is his health, Kyle. The maximum health has been decreased by 100. He was at 1750. He's now down to 1650. And then his base health regen was also decreased. Minute, look up the numbers yourself. I'm not going to bore you with them. But let's get into his abilities and his talents. Mirror images, the cooldown has been increased by 2 full seconds, but their timed life has also been increased by 2 seconds to reflect this change. Windwalk had its movement speed reduced. It was 30%. It is now 25%. And Illusion Master, the illusion damage bonus has been reduced. It was 20%. It is now 15%. And then finally, Kyle, tell me what's happening with 3-blade style.
So they changed up the mirror image life increase. This is your other 10 other than Blade Storm. So your 3-blade style, this will be your level 20 illusions that increases their health and makes them last more duration. Now they have upped that duration, actually. They made it a better pick in comparison to things like, Windstrider and that Blade Master's Pursuit.
Okay. So, are you happy with this change?
I am, yes. So let's highlight the key areas here where they made changes. The health affects the illusions. Less health on the illusions when they spawn. You have less health, you'll die easier, of course, and die in situations you might have gotten away with before. The cooldown increase means less splits and less avoiding things like living bombs. Your timing has to be really important. And if you're going to do a windwalk gank, you want to make sure that your illusions, your mirror images, are on cooldown or off cooldown. So now you got one more thing, 2 extra seconds, 12-second cooldown on windwalk. And then, of course, mirror image is now up to 18 seconds. There's a ton of room for error now.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, especially in lower leagues, I've noticed the big thing with Samuro is his mirror image is just dying. Whether it's on purpose, people just targeting them to get rid of them so they can figure out what the real Samuro is, or to just AoE damage. A longer cooldown means it's a longer amount of time after they die before we can create new ones.
Right, you're seeing two different extremes there. The people who are just killing everything because killing things is good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the people who are realizing which illusions are fake and trying to ignore them. That is not the correct style to play. Because those things keep on coming thanks to his trait, giving him the advanced strikes with 25% movement speed for 2 seconds. They will stay on you. They will do absurd amounts of damage, particularly if you don't regenerate anything. Where's Greymane? He's gone. No one plays Greymane anymore because illusions are amazing, and all that damage would be permanent on someone like Greymane. Except for on Battlefield of Eternity. He's still doing okay there.
Yeah. So good to know, because that's how I've been playing, and I always check in with you. It's like, Kyle, is my solo queue, is my pickup game logic sound? And so it sounds like, yes, kill the mirror images.
My calmness towards Samuro's OP status comes from Dota, because there were 2 windwalking abilities, 3 windwalking, there's probably more now. It's been a while. But the key windwalk abilities that I knew, and on the characters I played, Clicks, and you had Phantom Lancer and Bounty Hunter. On all those characters, windwalk allowed you to have a longer duration of windwalk than the cooldown of the spell. So the fact that Samuro has built-in errors is fantastic and automatically balances the character. You just have to be smart enough to read between the lines. There is no Samuro who's going to pop out before level 20, hit you with an increased hit, and then disappear instantly. There's always a time period in there. And when you start thinking about, here comes Samuro, there's the Samuro as he's about to pop out, there's the illusion split, you automatically know the rhythm that it's going to take in. Illidan. Most Illidans play the same style, but some of them are just casual. They didn't watch videos or anything like that, and they always do the exact same really dumb move. Dive over your head, and then dash through you. And you're like, what did that accomplish? it did almost no damage, and all you've done is expose yourself in the tower range. You popped your evasion, now you're a sitting duck, but it's fun to do, right?
Yes.
And once you think, if you're Raynor in that situation, you're not going to try to shoot Illidan while he's diving because he's moving too fast with a penetrating bolt. You're not going to hit him when he's behind you because you know he's going to use battering to get forward. So you just wait until he's in position where they all end up right in your face as they try to run away, and then you hit him.
Yeah.
So realize the rhythm of it and use it against him.
Gotcha. It's just like any other hero. Ones like Illidan that do seem scary out of the gate your first time, meeting them on the field of battle, and just learn how they work, as you said, the rhythm. So you're not afraid. You don't panic.
Exactly.
Gotcha. So what should Samuro players be doing?
So we actually had a listener, Zach, write in, and he did some math for us. It was really good math. He went through and showed us the highest damage build you could do with criticals, because at level 7, you're forced to take a critical talent. And you've got Phantom Pain, which does more damage per illusion active. That's very sexy, right? It's very cool. But guess what? Your illusions are probably going to explode. If people are drafting smart against you, they're going to take advantage of your illusions every chance they can. And we're about to get into that. He actually suggested going with Crushing Blows, so you get 2 charges of critical strike to increase your burst damage, and then later going into Harsh Winds, which is my favorite 16 talent, where you do increased damage when you pop out of Windwalk. But your attack at 16 has to be out of Windwalk, which is really important. So this is probably one of the most dangerous styles you will run into. It's going to be the highest amount of burst damage. It'll be very comparable to Zeratul play. He's going to have to, at 16 Harsh Winds, make the attack out of Windwalk. That gives you a huge advantage because the one that pops out of Windwalk is completely by himself. Then he's going to split his illusions now that you are exposed and try to get in his double crit.
Gotcha.
Which is very scary. It's going to be a lot of damage. Blinds will help a lot if you can, but it's going to be a lot of damage very quick. But the rhythm it's going to take. If he does, at level 7, we talked about Phantom Pain. The more illusions you have, the more damage your crit strike does. If you see that talent level 7, you know how it's going to go now. He wants to get his illusions out before he crits you. So he will most likely go into Windwalk, split before he pops out of Windwalk, and then do the critical strike for maximum damage.
So there's an announcement before you get attacked with that particular build.
In a sense, yes. If you're watching the level 7 talent, you can really read how the Samuro is going to try to gank you and prepare your abilities accordingly.
Gotcha. Now, what about our experience in Team League over the weekend, where we basically relied on Samuro to be the most absurd backdoor Merc Ninja in the history of Heroes of the Storm.
I honestly hadn't given it any thought. We have Illidan, we have Sonya, these guys who are really just fantastic Merc getters on Blackheart's Bay or any map where there's powerful Mercs, but Blackheart's Bay in particular. Samuro does this amazingly. Level 2. He can do this at level 2. 2-minute mark, you can go solo camp because your illusions have health. And that means you have health. And that means you can keep on going. And despite your talent build, it doesn't really affect the mercenaries in the first place. You are prepared to take mercenaries all over. And I will expect this now of Samuros who draft into my games.
It was really strong. God, letting Gorath get Samuro was a huge mistake by our enemy team.
Well, and we drafted smartly, too. We made sure that our core group of 4 was able to exist without him. Often we did double tank Kael'thas with a single support in there.
Yeah, because we operated just assuming that Samuro, for the most part, won't be with us. When he does show up, it'll be gleeful murder, but honestly, he would just be around taking mercs and just making sure that we had map control the whole game.
And one of the great things we did was TBK picked up Zarya. And Zarya was able to be in the front line while still getting shields to the back line of Samuro. I was Ariel in one of those games. I believe I was Lily in the other one. I simply could not get deep enough to help Gorath accomplish his Samuro biz. Plus, I did have to consider a little bit that if the cups were flying into Samuro, they would give away his position. So he was basically supportless except for the emergency Zarya shield, which would reveal him, the real one. But by that point, he was usually running away, so it wasn't a huge deal. The front double tank absorbed the incoming damage. The majority of their burst damage was out, and then a squishy like Samuro was able to go in the back line, deal all the damage, and clean up.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about ways to counter him. Some fantastic work in here. This is from Reddit user Rytedr, Rytedr.
Good enough.
Yeah, not easy to pronounce. But the big thing to think of here are effects that persist on Samuro through his mirror image. Temporal Loop on Chromie, Lightning Rod on Falstad, Sins Exposed on Johanna, March for the Kill on Greymane, Drain Hope on Leoric, Bone Prism on Zool, Hunter Killer on Zagara, and apparently they will continue to fixate on the real Samuro after he mirror images. I didn't personally notice this. That excites me.
Right. We talked about the Kael'thas last week and how it can destroy living bombs when you split with your illusions.
Yeah.
So that's what you're thinking about. Those are the sort of things that you're taking advantage of. Even though we didn't mention living bomb, it does not persist through mirror images. If you're that Kael'thas, you know the pattern based on his level 7 talent, how he's going to gank you because you're the squishy and Samuro wants to kill you. Trust me. You do a living bomb because you're going to force him to split early. Then you Verdant Spheres your Flame Strike if you're going to try to kill him. Or, hey, guess what? You also can pick up multiple people with a Verdant Spheres Gravity Lapse, which may also get the real one until your tank or support can respond.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I have been empowering my Gravity Lapse a little more than usual because of Samuro. Also, the last one was Vorpal Blade on Zeratul.
Right, and that's a talent, just like Sins Exposed was. This is really important, though, to bring up Sins Exposed. That's the Johanna talent where you put a mark when you blind someone, which causes them to take additional damage. That mark persists. So that's what we're talking about with Marked for the Kill, Sins Exposed, Lightning Rod on Falstad. That's his little pachoo lightning.
Yeah.
If he splits, you will know the exact real one because the ability persists through it.
Yeah.
And that Hunter Killer one, I agree, is rather shocking.
It becomes like your hunting dog at that point. You're just following it to the kill.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And the other big thing, which once I read this blew my mind, and all I thought to myself is, Garrett, you're dumb. How did you not think of this? But there's more bodies on the field, Kyle. So any ability that benefits from that, it's a boon to you to take that ability and use it against Samuro.
This is going to be a small list of all the possible things that you can benefit from drafting into a Samuro. And they are extremely crazy powerful. The only ones that really don't work are going to be ones that require hero kills. And Gathering Power, Wizened Duelist, those aren't going to happen because he doesn't actually die. But anything that gives a reduced cooldown when you hit multiple heroes, quests that have to hit heroes, those suddenly become crazy powerful. And if you can imagine a couple of choke points in that Gul'dan Echoed Corruption, with now a couple, 3 heroes appearing suddenly in that choke, with everyone else scrambling in there too, you're going to burn through your quests. And this week I had the infinite pleasure of, in a ranked game, the enemy team got Samuro. And I was thinking, all right, blinds. Let's just do blinds, Johanna. I tanked Johanna. I didn't even think about the level 7 talent, or level 4 talent, Eternal Retaliation, which gives me a lower cooldown whenever I condemn somebody, condemn a hero. With the illusions when they came out, and an additional 3 heroes in there, so 4 players total, but 2 extras from the illusions, I got an instant reset.
What? Oh
Basically.
my god.
It had a slight cooldown, because it does have a protection, so that's not an instant reset. But Samuro couldn't do a thing in the late game because it was just condemns after condemns.
That's ridiculous.
So let's talk about those sort of abilities that are going to reduce your cooldowns or give you more of something.
Yeah, Symbiosis on Dahaka, more cooldown reduction. Apocalypse on Diablo, you get more runes from that. Well, I'm sure you're excited about that, Kyle. Are you excited? My question to you, though, are you excited enough to start taking Diablo again?
No. Not right now. Not right now.
Right.
He really suffers in Malfurion's face. The roots are too powerful, and Diablo's not mobile enough, so if Samuro locks on, he's going to get his 25% movement speed and whale you down. Yeah.
Gathering Storm on Falstad.
That's a good one.
Yeah. You already mentioned Gul'dan and Johanna. The one that has made me the most gleeful, Kyle, put the biggest smile on my Blood Elf face is just living bombs in general on Kael'thas. When Samuro was first announced, when we first looked at his abilities, and when you first informed me that his mirror image, activating it, splitting, removes living bomb, I thought, oh, well, this is the end of one of my favorite heroes. If the Samuro turns out to be good, I'll just never use him again. But it turns out, like you said earlier, just learn the rhythm, be calm with it. I just laugh like a maniacal pyromaniac at this point with a Samuro on the enemy team, because the living bomb spreads. If you throw it on him after he splits, the spreading of the living bomb is ridiculous. My damage numbers are like back to when Kael'thas launched, and it was level 16 Kael'thas everywhere.
And the living bomb ticks longer than the Windwalk protection will give you. I think he's amazing counter. Plus Convection, your level 1 quest. I'm getting chills. I'm so gleeful about this. It gives you stacks for hitting illusions. When he splits into 3, guess what? There's 3 dings for you.
Yeah.
With your level 1 quest.
Yep. It's disgusting. I've honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the Flamestrike quest build, and I know it's the most popular one, and I'm sure people will tweet at me and yell in the chat room that I'm a moron, but I've mostly been sticking to living bomb builds just after the body block change, because people are bumping into each other all the time and spreading bombs, and that's been working really well for me. But now I just see no reason to stop, because with Samuros out there, it's hilarious.
Well, and really, Convection would be something that, if I was your tutor, I would take you off of, because you're an emotional player. And I get bummed when I lose my Convection stats. And that'll knock my mind out of a game at minute 5.
That's very true.
That one gank, and now I'm feeling bad about myself. I feel like I let the team down, and I'm not going to play my best. It's better just to avoid it if you're going to get bummed.
Living Bomb Kael'thas, I think, might be my favorite way to play heroes right now. It's very Zen-like. I just kind of get into this little back and forth dance, and just Living Bomb, we're good, cool. It's fine.
Oh, and you can increase the area of the explosions, and there's a lot you can do this. It is very, very powerful. And some of the other interesting ones in here are like Epicenter, Anubarak. He's able to regenerate. Alarak quests keep on going. Sieging, Wrath. They go on and on. Anything that gets you a stack that isn't from a kill is going to mean that you can get a really good thing going into Samuro.
Yeah. So we have a link to this entire Reddit post where a lot of these tips and tricks came from in the show notes. If you're listening to the posted podcast, it's on amove.tv/ITN. Look for the episode 134 post. If you're in the chat room, I just posted it. If you already saw it, then cool. You're up to date. Shall we wrap the show up with an email or two, Kyle?
That sounds nice.
Darkness stopped calling.
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. And our first one of the day comes to us from Josh, who says, "Hey guys, I just started listening recently and I love the show. What advice could you give to someone who is looking to get started playing actual matches rather than bot games?" Okay, so it sounds like you didn't just start listening recently. It sounds like you started playing recently.
Could be, but there's a lot of dedicated bot players out there. I know a couple. Some of my good friends from college really enjoy Heroes of the Storm, but when it comes to real people, they're more about the flavor. They want to use their ultimates. They want to really dominate with Zool and have big old pushes. A lot like when, someone comes in and destroys your StarCraft base and you were just going, "Oh, that was casual. I was working on that." What are you doing, man?
I was playing SimCity.
Exactly.
All my Terran buildings were in nice little semicircles, and
I spelled my name with my pylons. What are you doing in here?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. No, I get that to a certain degree. That was definitely how I pretty much played the original StarCraft, almost exclusively.
Well, even those campaigns were a bit hard for 13-year-old Kyle.
Yes. Yeah, I was terrible at video games when I was young.
But I was darn good at putting a lot of time into them. Banjo-Kazooie completed. All music notes. All puzzle pieces.
Yeah. But I don't know I'm never delicate with my response to this. Mine is always just play. What are you waiting for? Just go, just play. However, if you're worried, people can be mean. Random strangers on the internet can be mean. They can be toxic. They can be vitriolic. You can turn off chat. And if that's one of the things, and you have to be honest with yourself here, if that is one of the main reasons that you are hesitant to go in and play against other human beings, do it. Why not? Who cares? It's not just for parents who don't want their kids seeing a ton of swear words on the web. It can also be for people who just don't enjoy being cussed out because they're learning a game.
You also have the Brawl now, and if you're not doing that, you should be, because it's a just fantastic way to figure out positioning.
Yes. That being said, there are still people who are total jerks in Brawl, and I can't help it. I type LOL in the chat, man. LOL Brawl BM is my most typed thing in Brawl right now, because I just find it hilarious that anyone cares that much. It's Brawl. It is there to have fun. It is there for you to have a selection of heroes where you're just like, yeah, I can't play that one, or any of them that just came up. This week it's Search and Hammer, so it's a little different. But you know what I mean? It's supposed to be fun. Why are you BMing? Why are you trying to ruin anyone's day in Brawl? Stop it.
Right. It's a lack of patience, because you're going to get out of there in a good amount of time. We are not locked in for a full-fledged League of Legends game. You won't be here for 45 minutes to an hour and a half. It'll be over. But I did lose a game of Brawl this week due to a Kerrigan pick, and they simply couldn't play Kerrigan. That's a great environment for them to learn Kerrigan in, though. So, of course, I'm like, "Aw, that's cute." But my team was getting rather salty about it. Yep. But think about the games where everyone has the same hero. And I think this was no more clear than when I had all Greymane. Whichever Greymane engaged last won the fight. And that is a really simple concept that is crazy important. And if you can learn that for yourself in Brawl, if you can learn that I was out of position there, I'm Jaina, I died before Johanna was even attacked. The simple thought process of saying, "Oh, I'll let Johanna go in first and I'll Jaina in after that," is such a huge development, and you can learn those skills inside of Brawl. You can also learn how to land a Divine Palm and stuff, and that's really important to me.
I am muted. Go me. It's got to be one every show. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. No, I'm really glad you brought up Brawl, because I think it's a good answer to this question. I think now it's never been better to try a game against real people, because you have this kind of low stakes environment of Brawl. Quick match is already low stakes, and if you really want a draft environment, unranked is now there as well. Whatever it is I would like to hear specific reasons for staying away, because I think for just about whatever reason you can come up with to not play a game with actual players, that they've kind of addressed it at this point. There are options. You can play this game ping only if you want to. And if you no chat and only pings is what I meant there, just in case. I'm assuming that actually might be lost on some people who don't play with real people.
But there's no substitute to, getting in a little AI and having nobody ruin what you're up to. What you need to develop there and question for yourself, too, in a sense, is this maybe just fine? Is AI fine? Can I treat this game casually, have fun, and be okay in AI? Maybe. If you do not get joy from the lamentations of your enemies, AI may just be the place for you, and that's fine. For me, AIs will never be the same. There's always something off. You can never get inside an AI's head, and that's one of the key areas that it drives my love of MOBAs when they're scared. I love it so much. It's such a guilty pleasure, but when you kill Kael'thas for the third time and you just show your face and he starts running, that's joy. That's what these games are about.
Yeah, like me against the Kerrigan in our Towers of Doom game earlier today.
Well, that was just kind of funny because as the game started, I'm like, all right, here's your concerns. You got a Blizzard, you got a Kerrigan. And I'd be like, watch the Kerrigan just wipe you out. I had fun.
Yep. I thought I was a safe enough distance behind you. Didn't matter. Kerrigan would just wait for the condemn and then close.
And in that case, play some Kerrigan. Or maybe you were getting caught off by one of her range towns, which can happen at level 13. And that may have thrown you for a loop, too, as that changed mid-game. So I'd say play some Kerrigan.
And I have been. I don't really like her, but I honestly got this wild hair this week and decided I was going to take her into quick match, and I was destroying, sir. I felt godlike.
And I don't play those sort of characters either, because when I execute a good combo, all that goes through my head is, oh, that went exactly as it was supposed to every single time. It's not like, good job, Kai, you did the thing that everyone expects you to do. So I don't get a lot of joy out of Alarak, Thrall, Kerrigan, because there's just an order to your abilities.
Yeah, there are. You can mix it up with Thrall a little bit.
A little bit, but you still got to land the root into the combo.
Yes, very true. For whatever reason, it doesn't seem as stilted on Thrall as it does on Kerrigan to me, but I get it.
Not at all. But that's because Primal Grasp by itself, congrats. What'd you accomplish there? Lightning, all these other abilities on Thrall, they can all be used a little bit creatively.
Yeah. Well, Josh, best of luck as you hopefully move into your first few games against real people. And hopefully it went well and it was fun and you're now bloodthirsty and want more. Enjoy. Novelty 101 also wrote in lengthy email, but his question basically was, does it ever get better? Does it get better up there? Meaning, do diamonds really shine as they do from my vantage point? All I really want from this game is to play with people who care about it as much as I do. Well, Kyle,
that is such a fantastic, passionate, loaded statement he left at the end there.
Yes.
And we experienced something like this afternoon. That Nova we discussed, whose last game of Hero League was on Falstad 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Why they were picking Nova, we had no idea.
Nova was their 4th highest level hero. But again, like I said, I was totally being a jerk and spying on their profile, and I could not find the most recent Nova game, and the most recent game period, as you said, was 6 months prior.
Well, hey, you're not a jerk. It's what you choose to do with the information that makes you a jerk. Giving yourself the best possible edge you can going into a game, that's common sense.
All right, fair enough.
We need to know if we could trust that Nova. We did not trust her, and I feel like I didn't tank for her. A support didn't heal her. We won. If I had tanked and supported too much for Nova, I think we could have lost.
Fair enough. But how much of that is because of the Nova? I thought the Nova played fine. It wasn't astounding, but it definitely wasn't awful. I've seen way worse Novas. And we don't know what the support was doing. The support may have just been avoiding Nova because, well, it's a stealth character. They're fine. They can do their own damn thing. Or they may have, like us, profile spied. Who knows?
The really frustrating thing, of course, for Novelty here is playing with people who don't care enough. And maybe they've had a bad go of it. Maybe they had a bad day and they're taking it out on Hero League buddies. I think the main cause of it is just when you get below gold, people protect their egos by stopping the cares. And that's a horrible environment to be in.
Right. And I mean, it's a blanket statement. I'm sure there's exceptions to the rules. I'm sure there are people who legitimately do not care and for whatever reason have decided that Hero League is the button they're going to click on that day.
Yeah.
But there's no way to combat it, really. You can duo queue if Hero League is your... I mean, the way to combat this 100% is the Team League. Get 4 other friends and play Team League. Because I will say, this last Saturday, we've done Team League before, but this is the first time we stuck with the same comp for 5 games, or the same composition of players, not the same hero comp. The same 5 players for 5 games straight for a 3-hour session. That was the single most fun I have ever had in this game, Kyle. Even when we lost the one game because you DC'd, we made a bad core call, I was fine. You know me. I lose a game, I tilt immediately. At the end of that, I was just like, oh, that was dumb. Let's do another. Move on.
I was, of course, completely flattered.
Yeah. Kyle leaves and everything goes to hell. But, that's really... As far as I'm concerned, that's it's a zero-sum game. If this is what you're worried about, if you can't emotionally handle the chance of getting paired with a teammate that doesn't live up to whatever your expectations can be, and it doesn't matter if you've whittled it down to caring, because this is everyone's issue. This is my issue. My issue is you're bad. Why did people are picking you drafted wrong, or your skills aren't up to snuff, or your feet, I think you're feeding, whatever the case is, it can shift on a day-to-day basis what is bothering you the most about the random people you are playing with. So it's an emotional hurdle that you have to clear. I have cleared it by only playing Hero League with a friend, because I just need that social aspect. I need, at least at the end of the day, to know at least there was one other person in this group of 5 that I know was trying as hard as I was. That makes it easier for me to take a loss. And I think that's that's where I've kind of landed, is everyone needs to find whatever it is that makes it easier for them to take a loss. A lot of people are good about removing themselves from it. It doesn't matter. They can just log game after game after game, and the losses just roll off their back. I am not one of those people. I recognize that.
No, and I'm not one of those either. If I lose 2 in a row, I quit, just because I want to not salvage, that's a little strong, but I want to maintain the integrity of my happy evening.
Yeah. It's what is the game to you at the end of the day? And for a lot of people, and it's easy to forget this, especially on a show dedicated to one specific game, you started playing a game in the first place because you wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
So do what makes you happy.
And Team League isn't an option for a lot of people. It's tough to schedule getting that many people together, but it was extremely relaxing. And I feel like we're cheating a little bit because we won so much. Of course, we had a great time in that sense. But we had John's Artanis. And it was just, do it. I know his Artanis. It's got a master skin. I've seen it at work tons of times in the core after shows, as well as gotten to play with it. I trusted that. It was so relaxing. And in fact, I was rather fatigued when I logged in for my streams yesterday and Tuesday to have to go back into solo queue. Such a huge switch. The amount of, paying attention I had to do on my own team was tiresome. It's a completely different culture. To answer the first part of his question here, before we wrap up, diamonds do shine. I'm not saying that for my own ego, as though it does tickle me. In above Diamond 3, I have found that all my trust has been very well placed. I had a bad one with that Gazlo Nova dude, and that was kind of funny as a first pick. But for the most part, I had an Artanis guy. I was like, hey, man, I love Artanis. What's with Artanis? He's like, it's great. I'm great at him. I was so cool. And we did it. But everyone above Diamond 3 has to be winning more than they're losing, so it's kind of a special environment in that way.
Yeah. But you had the Gazla / Nova first pick. You're not immune, even up there.
Right, but everyone tried their hardest, so I am extremely spoiled in that way, and I recognize it. And I've been on the Smurfs, and I've watched your guys' MR Hell replays, and they are very frustrating. And in the end, keep going. There's a lot you can do positioning-wise to get yourself better. So much you can learn to become a better player, and you will school if you pick the right hero and you get those skills. You can climb. The sad part is you're not going to do it with Brightwing. Sorry. Brightwing's great.
She's not on my bar right now, Kyle.
Brightwing's still great. I agree with you that I don't want her on your bar right now, but I've continued to see amazing Brightwings. That's fine. you're not going to be able to do anything outstanding from that position. And if you truly, truly want to climb, as awful as it is to say, get Vala. Get a sustained somebody who, no matter what happens, you've got your own movement speed, your own regeneration, whatever level it comes in at. It could be 20, it gives you some sort of regeneration. Do it. That's a fine character now. You can try Kerrigan, and that might carry you. And it could be extremely powerful if you're finding people in your league are constantly splitting up and being solo. Butcher may carry you. But really, you need some sort of support there.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, Kyle. I agree with you. I have nothing else to add to that bit. So, to sum up my thoughts again, novelty, figure out what will keep you the happiest for the longest and just keep doing that. Whether it's playing with a friend or herding, what I call herding cats, which might explain to you how hard it ever was for me to get a raid team together in WoW. But herd cats and get a team league together. Whatever it is, just do it and enjoy the game. That's going to do it for this episode of Into the Nexus. If you are a patron, stick around. Again, if you're a patron and you're watching live, stick around. If you're a patron and you're listening on the download, I apologize for confusing you. Stick around for the after show games. And thanks again, patrons. If you're enjoying Into the Nexus, if you're getting value out of Into the Nexus and you want to give us value back, the best place to do so is patreon.com/ITN. Thank you to everyone supporting us over there. Also, thank you to those of you who are dropping us 5-star reviews in the iTunes store. It helps the show out a lot in that it moves us up the ranks and makes it easier for new folks to find our show. So if you like the show, if you're listening on iTunes, drop us a review there. As always, go to AMove TV for more about Into the Nexus and all of the other podcasts that Kyle and I produce. Huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H. and Cheesy Bob. We've got coffee mugs, pint glasses, wine glasses over at etched.amove.tv. Those are custom hand-etched glasses made by one of our listeners, so go check that out. Catch us live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, except next week because we will be in Anaheim at that time, partying with you guys at the Bowlmore Bowling Lanes inside the Anaheim Garden Walk Mall, just around the corner from the Anaheim Convention Center where Blizzcon is happening. This will be the night before Blizzcon, 9 p.m. local time. See you guys there. And as always, follow the show on Twitter at ITNcast. And a huge thanks to Gorath and Brian Griffith for our intro and outro music. Awesome work by those guys. Kyle, where can folks find you?
This week, you can find me over at youtube.com/Kyle Fergusson. That's where you can find the videos of the Team League, the quintessentials, as we named our team. And then, of course, the most recent solo Q&A where many of these little tales of who I've met this week are happening. I feel like I'm just kind of one of those shows with the camcorder on my shoulder, just going out and interviewing people on the streets. And some of them are completely nuts. Some of them are really good people, and you learn a little bit about the human experience.
Awesome. Well, folks, you can find me on Twitter at Garrett Art. There are 2 R's and 2 T's in Garrett. I'm not one of those 1 T Garretts, confusing everyone else in the world to spell my name incorrectly. You can also go to amove.tv for all of the other podcasts I do. I have a new WoW show with Jocelyn called For Azeroth, as well as Embrace the Spoilers with Jocelyn, where we're talking about Westworld. So go check that out. And we're not running ads at the top of the show anymore because our patrons are supporting us, but we do have codes to give you guys. So use the code ITN over at doghousesystems.com. It will get you a free solid-state drive added onto your gaming rig, and that is in addition to the regular hard drive that comes with the systems. You can also use the code ITN over at tweakedaudio.com, where it will get you 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds and headphones from Tweaked Audio. We thank them for their support. We thank you all for listening. Hope to see many of you at BlizzCon, even though there will be another episode coming. It just won't be live, but we will have another episode up on the feed for all of you to placate you all while we're on planes on our way to BlizzCon. But anyways, we'll hope to see many of you at BlizzCon. Until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.